And there you go. And we'll see if we go. So it's 9 o'clock on Monday, the 23rd. Hi, Sally. Welcome home. Yep, this is where we are in our lives, going to memorials and occasionally a wedding. Okay, I'm gonna close this because I realize I have opened. And Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. I haven't seen your name before, but maybe I've seen your body? I don't know. Hi, Sue Lane, Laura, Sue Shepherd. Okay. So you see, we do have a lot of people that still like to do yoga at home. You might want, let me tip this up a little bit because you cannot see my arms. And this orientation is because we have a refrigerator in the room where I normally might stand. So you might want a yoga block or a box or maybe a wall to stand on. Let me see if I can even this out. So we're going to be doing the standing pigeon pose. That's the one where you stand with your leg here and you go like this, or you end up down with your hands on the floor. And you can either have blocks in front of you so that when you go down there's something to grab hold of, or you can put your hips to the wall behind you and do it from this way, or you could do it standing up. Also, we're going to face the long end of the mat at some point, and then when we go forward, you either put your hands on your legs, on the block, or on the floor. So you can have one or two blocks if they're helpful. I've got my blankie to sit on. You can have a pillow. Let's just start in Sukhasana, comfortable pose. Sitting with your ankles crossed, your spine lifted, the shoulders relaxed. And if you don't like ankles crossed, you can have one leg out if that bothers your knee, or you just would rather sit somewhere else. So I have a little background music going on here. Well, I had a little background music going on here. There we go. And we come to what's called samastiti. We just detach ourselves from what we have been doing or what we will be doing in our day today and become present. So that's what samastiti means. Come to the moment, come to be present. I would refer you to the base of your torso, Mula Bandha. It acts as a grounding, energized source, also lifts and holds the internal organs. If you draw the lower belly in, the action at Uddiyana, that's useful to help your back. Lifting the spine so your vertebra and disc have a bit more space. Lowering your eyes as the crown of the head lifts toward the sky. You can support the back with hands at your knees, or you can float the palms up and use a mudra gesture with finger and thumb. Breathing is generally done through the nose unless you're congested, and then just find another place to breathe from. You notice how your breath and body work in concert. Use your breath during your practice to help retain the sense of calm. Opening the eyes, sitting tall, stretching your arms out to the sides of your space. Feel the fingertips go beyond. The shoulders hold down. Those of you who are present with me have benefit of mirrors, so if you saw this, you could probably fix it. Turning the palms, lifting the heart as the shoulders allow. Bringing in the goodness and the positivity, we close our palms together and place them at the heart, and remembering the attitude of gratitude. And I'll come to sit on my bum if I'm not already there, and lean back on my hands and put my feet up with my knees together, and begin dropping my legs from side to side. All of a sudden there's a flute behind me. So you may find that you need to go faster or slower than me, and that's okay. You just do the tempo that feels sometimes you feel this in the front of the shoulders, sometimes the back, sometimes the hips, so take note. Ooh, sometimes there's popping and crepping. Bandha Konasana, the cobbler's pose. So as you sit, bottom of the feet together, get up on your sit bones rather than back on your tailbone. Where you place your feet does not matter. Some people will advocate for a very tight. Some need some more space. Some maybe just want it in the middle. So I leave it to you to find. Do again, lengthen the spine, and we hinge through the pelvis. So the heart goes forward. Now if there's issues in the hips, this may come into play. If your hips are tight, you may prefer your arms on the outside as your body goes forward. So we're just leaning out, holding the integrity of our spine, and then let your head look down towards your feet. Or some of you may bow your head and your head may actually go on your feet. And it doesn't matter where it goes, it's just going to be what it's going to be. Draw into your breath. Noticing how the back expands and tightening through the belly to release the breath. Begin rolling up through your spine, one vertebra at a time until you're nice and tall. Fold up your right leg and extend it forward. Leave the other leg bent in. This foot can be around your calf or your ankle or your knee or anywhere on that leg. The leg coming forward from your pelvis should come out from its hip bone. And let me explain a little further. If I put my feet together in the Iyengar style of yoga, for a woman's body especially that has a wider pelvis, that narrows the alignment. So if I scoot that leg over and it's aligned here, I'm going into a little bit of hamstring. So use the hand behind, again, to lift the spine, and you may not go very far forward, and if it's even difficult to sit like this, it's a little easier on a blanket or a pillow. You can bend that extended knee a little bit. So you want to keep that extended leg toe up and look at it as the heart leans forward. Again, that hinging, bringing the heart forward. Chances are this is going to be much easier than 2 feet. If you find you're going forward and the hands aren't helping you, bring them out just under the shoulders rather than reaching for the foot. I get that, but I would ask that you put the hands just to the side to carry the weight of the body as the body lays toward the extended thigh. And again, focus on your breath. Use your hands if they're in front to come all the way up, otherwise engage Uddiyana action and then set up on the other side, wherever that fits. Lift nice and tall and begin that hinging forward. Again, the feeling should be in the back of the leg, the hamstring. Maybe moving the hands forward. And slowly drawing all the way up. And we'll transition onto our hands and knees. You guys with me can come on your head going forward toward the front. I'll face to you guys at home. I think I'm having a Verizon issue here. We know how Verizon and Mercer Island don't always go together happily, although it says it's good. Okay, hopefully it'll find. I come onto all fours. For anybody with knee sensitivity, we're here on a carpet, but if you'd like a little more, you can either use the blanket or about halfway back, take your mat, drag it back. It'll give you a little more knee pad. Palms are down unless that's uncomfortable for your wrist, in which case I'd propose the knuckles with thumbs forward. And then have the hands under your shoulders, so usually we're a little behind. So come out over your hands, knees are hip distance apart. Not looking up, though I know you need to see what we're doing, but also not letting your head hang down. Pause in this all-four position and really ascertain the neutral position of your spine. So sometimes the back tends to overcurve, not the usual way, and sometimes we pull the belly up too much in our attempt to not sway back. So feel free to play around, wiggle around with it, the balance on all four limbs and your spine. And then we're going to rock a little forward and back. So I'll lean a little forward of the hands, noticing my core, and then I'll go a little bit back. I would say breathe in as you go forward, and breathe out as you go back. So if your knee does not like to compress, only go as far as that works for you. That said, if it's easy for your hips to move towards your heels, go ahead. As we move between forward and back, you may notice that going forward a little more challenging, as if in chaturanga, and that as you go back, it's a bit more calming. Once more, forward and back, and we'll end up back in either child's pose or puppy dog. So I separate my knees a little more. You can leave the hands out in front. You can fold the hands under your head. You can put the hands behind. And if the child's pose doesn't suit you, hips up for puppy dog. Reach both of your arms forward on your mat toward the short end, and then move the hands toward each other. Leave your left hand in front. Draw your right hand back and flip the palm up so it's looking at your face. So your palm is up below your face. Sliding the right hand under your left arm, lift up the left arm, so coming up perhaps on the tips of the fingers, and reaching that right arm under so you get a bit of a twist. This could be done in puppy dog. If your hips are up, that would be a little more like we do needle and thread. So that right arm is reaching across under your shoulder. So it's reaching underneath. There you go. And how about thinking of Mula Bandha? Yeah, so think of Mula Bandha. Nice breath here as you're kind of twisted up a bit. Draw the right hand back in, extend it forward. Again, the hands are somewhat together. Pull the left hand back, palms up, and when ready, slide it under your right shoulder, lifting to look under the arm as the left arm reaches across. Noticing the differences or similarities in each side of your body. Sliding that left hand back, coming up onto your hands and knees. And then we're going to stand up. Try not to use your hands if you don't have to, but if you have to, you have to. And then clear your mat. So if you had a towel or a pillow or something, or if you doubled up your mat, clear that off. And we'll step up to the front of the mat. So you'll step up toward me, and I'll just step over here. So the feet generally parallel. You can use the Iyengar style. It narrows the stance and makes it a bit more challenging. So most people fare better with a little bit of opening. There's another style in the Ashtanga where the big toes touch, kind of an inward spiral. So just make a selection, root the feet, engage the inner thighs, address Mula Bandha, the action of Uddiyana without squeezing the tush, a lifting of the spine, relaxing of the neck and the shoulders, fingers reach to earth, crown of head towards sky, not a throwaway position. Tadasana, so great on so many levels. So we're going to move through a series of what's called Surya Namaskar Series B. There's lots of push-ups. If you want to forego the push-ups, I will always suggest child's pose for you to wait in. With your next breath in, simply lift the arms out or up. Often as the arms go up, you'll find that your hips move forward to accommodate that, so make sure the hips are not thrusting forward, that the chest is lifted, And this is our breath in. Makes sense, right? On the exhale, open the arms, bend the knees, and touch the backs of your hands on the floor. Now, if that's difficult to touch the floor, get close, but if you can, bend your knees enough that the backs of the hands with your palms open are touching the floor. This is breath out. Keeping the knees bent, lifting the chest, I'm going to come to a chair pose. So chair pose for some with back and shoulder issues can be sitting in a chair with your arms forward, or the arms can fully extend up. And take your time, it's early in the practice, so remember the hips are back so you have a seat of the chair rather than leaning forward. And feel grounded, stable, chair pose. So this is breath in. On the breath out, my knees will be very bent, hands come down to the sides of the feet, and then I'll shake my head a big yes here and a big no. From here, as I drop the hips and lift the chest, I'm going to move into a plank, a push-up position. So I'll walk my feet back in any fashion that works for you, and then come onto my hands and toes, or perhaps the hands and knees. Hands and toes, a little more challenging. Hands and knees, just a variation. So from your knees or from your toes, with your chin up and your elbows in, lower your chest and hips to touch the mat at the same time. And we're down. Relax the toes. The hands remain slightly behind the shoulders, the elbows are in, the shoulders are down. Begin by breathing in and engaging the muscles of the back rather than going right to push in the hands. Baby cobra, inhale. Now you push up on the hands and knees, lift your hips at the same time as best you can, turn your toes under, leave the feet where they are as I lift up my hips and look back to my feet with my knees perhaps bent in my first downward dog. So normally I would suggest that you move the feet. If you can do this with your legs straight, because we did do a little hamstring opening, feel free. So you come to this down dog without any adjustments. Now here's the challenge. Stand on the left foot, pick up your right foot behind you. And in a three-legged dog, your arms are straight and your legs are straight. Raise your left heel when you breathe in. Bend your right knee, swing so you can step it up between your hands in front. That can be a challenge. So if in the process of swinging it forward, you run into the ground, that's okay. Pick up your foot, move it up, or sometimes swinging it around. I get that, it's a challenge. But you end up in that lunge where the front knee is above your ankle, your back leg is on the ball of the foot, and your chest is lifted. So we do this just for a moment to open between the groins, and then I will drop my back foot as I establish my warrior feet. So the left heel, the back heel drops down. Remember that toe angles forward rather than going directly out. The front knee is bent. And when I stand up to warrior one, I can either do that on my own core, but if you need a little help with your hands, help yourself up. If you don't have a mirror in front of you, I will say touch yourself. So these are your headlights. You want your chest forward, but even more importantly, you want your hips forward. So sometimes this back hip turns, so make sure that that back hip is moving forward, that the front knee is bent, and then we'll let the arms float. If your back is cranked, your shoulders forward. If you feel you can go all the way up, up. And if that feels a bit much, you can always use cactus. So I'm giving a little time to my calf to stretch behind me, rolling into the pinky toe, maybe feeling a little wobbly. So the alignment of front foot to back foot can either be the front heel to back heel. Some people advocate for the instep of the back foot to line up with the heel of the front foot, whichever makes sense to you. So I'm going to go back down and do another push-up. Remember, if you don't want to do it, you can always hang in child's pose. For me, I feel it's better for my ankle to lift the back heel and then lower my hands and then step into my push-up position from toes or from knees. Chin up, elbows in. Once again, down we go. Relax the toes. Without pushing on hands, breathe in and lift. Exhale, push up on your hands and knees and get those hips up at the same time if you would. Turn your toes under. Lift your hips up for a second dog and don't move the feet. And we will do that on the third time. So this time you don't need to move the feet. You're in your downward facing dog. Stand on your right foot. Pick up your left foot for a three-legged dog. Remember, you can just be in child's pose at this moment. Raise the right heel, giving you more space under your belly. Bend the left knee, look forward, and do the best you can to step that left foot up between the hands. I'll wait. Left knee above the ankle, right leg behind. However you get there, it's called step through. It takes time to cultivate all the nuances of getting there. But once there, let's open up through the groins, relax the neck and shoulders. Now I want to set my feet into warrior, so I drop that right heel, again, lining my heels up or taking a more inward stance. Ground your feet, engage your core, use your leg if necessary. As you inhale, stand to warrior one. Chest and hips are forward. If you wish, raise the arms, and if that feels too much, go to cactus. Get that desert consciousness going. So front knee bends, and in our warrior, we open into the groins. So commit to the lunge, and find your breath. When things go a little faster, be careful when you come up that this doesn't lag behind. The body will be rather cattywampus if you do that. Cattywampus, such a yoga term. Roll into the pinky toe. I go back down for one more push-up. In this series, there are 3. I lift my back heel, lower my hands into plank, step into my push-up, and maybe I want to go to child's pose, or from my knees or toes, chin up, elbows in, come on down. Now this is where things are different. Relax the toes. Inhale, go up. Baby cobra, cobra. There are those who might even do up dog. Exhale, go down. And then we turn the toes under. From the knees, either lift your hips up or stay on your toes and lift your thighs up. And keep your hips up and do the best you can to press away from the mat. Once in plank, downward dog. And for this down dog, move your feet forward. And you might be inclined to want to walk your dog slowly, bending one knee, straightening the other leg. Or you may want to stay still. So in our third dog, we're calm. I don't walk my feet forward, I just kind of walk them like I'm bending one knee and straightening the other leg. Or I'm quiet. Raising both heels up together, really, really, really high. Bending the knees as you breathe out, look forward. And on your own terms, walk, step, or jump your feet up to the front of the mat where your hands are. Drop the hips and lift the chest, breathe in. Put the hands around the calves as you bow over. Maybe the legs will straighten, maybe they won't, but lay your body on your thighs, look through your shins, fold. To chair pose as you breathe in. So finding your blood pressure keeping up with you. Remember your variations. If this overhead arm position doesn't suit you, move your arms. This is inhale, and our exhale takes us back to Tadasana. So I stand and release my arms, and I'm back. And we went through it rather slowly and mindfully. The series remains the same. The orientation is the left leg. Do you guys have any questions? You know that when we're coming down, you could just go to child's pose and wait while we do the step through and things? Okay. So do what you can as we move on to the other side. A little faster. On the inhale, lift the arms, lift the heart, lift your spirit. On the exhale, bend the knees, touch the backs of the hands onto the earth in front of you. Careful your knees are not touching. On the inhale, move to a chair pose of your own making. On an exhale, touch the hands to the earth and forward fold. On the inhale, drop the hips and look forward, stepping back into your plank. From knees or toes, on the exhale, elbows in, come on down. Relax your toes. Inhale, no pushing, first push up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push up onto your hands and knees. Turn the toes under and leave those feet. Come to a down dog. Don't change a thing. Stand on your right foot. Pick up your left foot. Three-legged dog. Arms are straight, legs are straight, and I'm not too fussy if the back leg likes to open. Raise your right heel, bend your left knee, look forward, and swing that left foot up, stepping it up between the hands, pausing when you get there so you can drop the back heel for warrior. Get grounded in your warrior stance, and when ready, stand up. Those of you here with me, use the mirror. Check this back hip. It's hard if your foot is turned out to get that hip around. Just doesn't work that way. Modify if preferred. Commit to your lunge. Back down to the bottom of the push-up. So breathing out, I go down. Relax your toes. Breathing in, go up, don't push. Now exhale, push up onto hands and knees. Toes under, hips up, down dog, hold the feet. Stand on your left foot, pick up your right foot. There's the three-legged dog. Raise your left heel, bend your right knee. Look forward, swing and step that right foot up, do the best you can. Once the right foot is forward, drop your left heel. Ground the foot. As you breathe in, Virabhadrasana 1. More challenge, look up. Be mindful in your knee placement, sometimes it buckles in. On the breath out, all the way down to the bottom of the push-up, or perhaps child's pose might be more to your liking. So this is our third one. This is different. Inhale, you go up, baby cobra, cobra, up dog. Exhale, you come down. Turn the toes under. Inhale, lift your hips from knees or toes. Exhale, press off the mat and into your downward dog or child's pose. And this time you do adjust the feet. So you want to feel that your tailbones are lifting towards sky. Bend the knees if that's better. Wrap the elbows in and press down with the pads of each one of your fingers, particularly the first finger and thumb, so there's no gap under your hands. Really press in to save your wrist. Breath in, raise your heels. Breath out, bend the knees, look forward. Walk, step, or softly jump to the front of the mat where your hands are. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, put the hands around the calves. Bow over and draw together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, mountain pose. So, one more time, right side, left side. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. This will get zippy. If you just need to check out and go to child's pose, that's your prerogative. Okay, so we got the thing kind of going. Here we go. Inhale, arms lift towards sky. Exhale, bend the knees and touch the hands on the earth. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold, hands on the floor. Try and straighten the legs. Inhale, lift your chest, drop your hips. Exhale, step back and down to the bottom of whatever push-up you might be doing. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, push up on your hands and knees, toes under, down dog, hold your feet. Stand on your left foot, breathe in, raise your right foot up. Breathe out, bend the right knee, step forward, drop your left heel. Breath in, stand up in warrior one. Breath out, down to the second push-up. Breath in, lift your chest. Breath out, push up on your hands and knees, toes under, down dog. Don't move the feet. Stand on the right foot, lift up your left foot. Exhale, step the left foot forward, drop your right heel down, get your warrior. Inhale, stand up, warrior one. Exhale, down to the third push-up, which we know will be different. Inhale, go up, then exhale, come down. Inhale, turn the toes under, lift your hips up from knees or toes. Exhale, push up on hands and toes. Downward dog, adjust your feet. That means take 2 small steps forward. Child's pose if you prefer. A few calm breaths. Catch up with yourself. Inhale, raise the heels. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. You walk, you step, you jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the chest. Exhale, hold the calves, bow over and fold together. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, mountain pose. Pause. Assess. I'm giving you a thumbs up. We go to the other side for our last series. So remember, yoga is your internal journey. Some of these poses you may feel really good about, some of them maybe not. It's the process of going through it and honoring your third eye chakra. So if you feel like you ought not be doing, if you feel you can, please join as we finish. Inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, open the arms, touch the backs of the hands into the earth. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold with the hands on the floor. Inhale, lift the chest and lower the hips. Exhale, step back into your push-up position from hands and knees or hands and toes. Exhale, chest and hips come down simultaneously, relax the feet. Not pushing on hands, inhale, lift. Exhale, push on hands and knees, up you come. Toes are under, downward dog, hold those feet. Stand on right foot, lift your left foot. Raise the right heel, exhale, step your left foot forward and drop your right heel. You can do it. Inhale, warrior one. Hips and chest aligned. Exhale, down to the bottom for your second push-up. Inhale, up, not pushing. Exhale, push up onto hands and knees. Toes under, downward dog, hold those feet. Stand on left foot, breathe in, raise your right leg. Left heel lifts, exhale, step forward, drop the left heel. Inhale, warrior one. One more push-up as you exhale down to that push-up or maybe child's pose. Inhale up, wherever up takes you. Exhale, come down. Toes under, hips up from knees or toes. Press up from the mat. Downward dog and adjust your feet. A about 3 breaths. If you prefer child's pose, a good option. Breath in, raise both of your heels. Breath out, bend the knees, sit back, look forward. Walk, step, or jump your feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, drop the hips and lift the chest, laying the body on thighs. Exhale, behind the calves, fold over as you breathe out. Chair pose as you breathe in. And mountain pose as we breathe out. Well, you did it. And let's move on to some balancing poses. So as I mentioned, we're going to do the standing pigeon pose. I've pretty much given up doing pigeon poses. If you think you need the wall, you can approach it from the side, or you can find a wall with your hips behind. If you don't need the wall, put blocks in front so that as you go forward, you might have them to hold on to or go to the floor. So I will just say pick a leg, and you can do any leg you want. So I'm in Tadasana. I'm going to bend both knees a little and then let my arms go out to the side. Raise one heel, your choice, and place that foot above the knee at the thigh with the knee open. Hands then come to heart, get grounded. Sit down a little bit more, and as you're sitting, the body will move a little forward. It will only go where you feel it can go. If you feel you can put the hands to the floor, that's fine. Just realize that coming up is going to be a real fun thing to do. So you should be feeling a little pull in your hip. When we stand up, we're going to do that ta-da moment. So as you slowly come back up, putting your hands to your heart, extending your arms, and extending your leg to the side, ta-da! And stand like a mountain. Notice the mountain pose is giving you clarity of calm. Hold on to the calm as we do the other side. If you're sideways at the wall, you probably want to turn yourself around so you can use the outward leg and you don't run into the wall. Both knees will bend, arms will open, other leg will come up and place it on the thigh. Open the knee as available and bring the hands to the heart. As the hips go back and the standing knee bends, the chest moves forward. Where that is up to you. Some of you might reach to touch a block. Some of you might put the hands down. Some people even go on their hands and shift forward and do an arm balance. Feel free. As we rise up, standing mindfully and opening the arms, ta-da, ta-da-ta-ta-ta, and return to Tadasana. Once more, each side, just to give it another chance. Bending the knees, opening the arms, and the hips shift back. Your first leg rises up. Cross it over your standing leg. As the hands come into your heart, the hips go back. Chest goes forward. Only go as far as you can. If you think you can go further, please do. If that's not happening, just breathe. Standing up, ta-da, ta-da-ta-ta-ta. And mountain pose. Lots of exuberance. One more, the other side, keep track. Knees bend, arms lift, hips back. Raise the other heel and cross over ankle. Maybe at this time you're finding out you have a preference for one side, for whatever reason. Breathing. Steady yourself with breath. We we stand, open out your arms, open out your legs, ta-da! And close the posture. So I'd like for you to face the long end of the mat. Now if you guys want to turn your mat, you can. Otherwise, just face and look over your shoulders so you can see me. Same at home. So you're going to be facing the long end of the mat and separate your feet into what's called a wide straddle. The edges of your feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Anyone have any hints for me? How far should my legs go apart? Is there a rule on this? Crickets? So there is a rule. In some styles of yoga, they delineate 3 to 4 feet. But, you know, JP is taller than the rest of us, so he needs a wider span. And yet, I can tell you, if your feet are too close together, when you go forward, you're going to be limited in your hamstring. But I also know that if you put your legs too far apart to make it easier, that also is not correct. So my suggestion is, and this is my Susie Homemaker, arms to the side, fingers point down, and your feet should be below the hands. And that will say that your arms and legs are in good proportion to one another. Then you can put your arms down. So it seems fair enough. But Mula Bandha. So you must hold and support yourself. And then bring the thumbs to the small of the back. Now, for those of you who say I might have trouble reaching the floor, this would be a good time to put a block in front of you. So when you go down, you have it. If you think you can get to the floor, you'll just go down. Now, bending back is 2 ways to do it. If there are back issues, you might want to move the pelvis forward so you can get a bit of curve. Traditionally, that's not how we do it in yoga. Traditionally, the pelvis stays steady and the chest lifts above that. But that's not for everybody. And you don't have to look up if that makes you get dizzy. You can look more outward. So as you inhale, lift your chest, perhaps move your pelvis if that's required. And as you exhale, slide forward with the hands, let the heart lead forward. Pause with the hands above your knees. Now, those of you that are in the room with me, look over your shoulder at your image and make sure your back hasn't rounded, that you're still leaning out with the heart, holding a neutral spine, and you feel a little bit in the back of the legs, I suspect. Maybe your hands gently slide over your knees to your shins. Maybe your hands come onto a block or two. Maybe your hands come onto the floor between the line of the big toes and under your shoulders. Then for those who say, I'm here, now what? I go, okay, well, put your head on the floor. And that's not going to be something everyone can or should do. But we want to greet our hamstrings with happiness and joy. Lean into your toes. Lean into your toes. Yeah, big correction. When we come up, I want you to feel like you're holding a pillow between the legs. This protects your back. Remove the hands to the small of the back. Squeeze that pillow as you inhale, rise up. You can just stay here. You don't have to do another back bend. I'm going to do a back bend. Inhale, opening the heart. Exhale, leading with the heart. I'm going forward, but I'm going to let the hands stay behind me, grabbing the hands or lacing the fingers. If I had a block, I might put my head on it. And then I'll straighten the arms up off of my back so that my arms tip forward. Now as I come, I'm going off camera. As I come to some of you, I may touch your hands, but I'm not going to force them. I had that done to me, so the arms will go forward. Yeah. And you breathe. Is that the best hand grip you can do? Okay, thanks. Notice the sensations around the front of your shoulders in addition to the hamstrings. Thumbs to the small of the back. Squeeze that imaginary pillow. Again, rise up. This time, let's wait at the top because we're going to change and go into a lunge. So if you had a block, you can use it. If not, hands on the thigh. Inhale, lift up your heart. Exhale, lean forward and slide your hands onto your thighs. Let's go to your left leg. So both hands come on your left thigh and begin bending your left knee. So the weight is shifting onto your left foot and the hips are back so that you don't fall. You begin to feel the pull at the inside of your right leg. And then for some people, not everyone, you can either put the hands on the block or on the floor. And if that leg that was out to the side of you wanted to spin open, you might drop into a squat with your leg open. I don't know what is going to work for you, but I will leave it to you to find the inner thigh on the one extended leg. So you can either keep that foot parallel or lift up the toes and hips drop deeper. The standing foot, your left foot heel stays down. Slowly rise up. Walk your hands over to your right thigh. Hips go back, chest goes forward. Again, the hands may come down onto a block or the floor if you want to spin that extended leg up. So you feel the inside of that left leg. Yes? Toe up. You're on the heel, toe up. As you come center, go ahead and find your way down onto the floor. It may not be pretty, but we're already halfway there, so I say just go ahead and come on down onto the floor as you would like. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. But we have our hands to help us. So we're going to go to a little bit of core. If you were here last week, and I don't think any of you were here last week, you didn't come last week. I haven't seen you for a while. So this one is bicycling. If you were here online, this will be familiar. And I'm going to put my head to you because nobody likes my feet moving to their face. So watch first before you lay down, because once you're down, hard to see what I'm doing. So when I get onto my back, and there's no napping, so when you get on your back, you'll bend the knees and have the hands behind the head. I would say one of the hardest things to do is to consciously rest the head in the hands. Most of us do this. We want to hold our head up with the muscles in our neck. I'm going to keep reminding you, rest your head into your hands. If this doesn't work for you, yes, you can always put your head down on the floor, so no, you can. Now here's what will happen. I will take one foot and push on a bicycle pedal. Then as that leg comes in, I'll take the other leg and push on the bicycle pedal. Feeling the weight of my head will be my mantra. After I do several of these, I might be inclined to say, how about some mono-finning, 2 feet, extending out, coming in, lifting, and pushing away. That's not the biggest part of it. I know your legs, you all have ridden a bicycle in your life, so I know that will happen. Here's what I want you to think of, your low back. You don't think of it, you're just thinking I got a pedal, and she told me to relax my neck. Really, the important thing is your low back. Please don't push it down into the floor and take the muscles out of the work. Maintain a little bit of arch or neutrality. So so here's my back in neutral position. This is artificial. Look what it did to my head. This is natural. So I want to maintain that neutral spine as I'm doing my bicycle pedaling. It's not like my back comes down when my legs are up and then the back comes up when my legs are down. So be very conscientious of the low back. We want both sides of the core, the abdominal wall and the back working. Did I make that perfectly clear?
Yeah, whether I can do it.
Okay. All right, please come onto your backs. And you're going to do this for yourself. We don't have to be doing it at the same time. I do advocate for a slower speed, so you cradle your head in your hands, or maybe the head on the floor. Really get the heaviness of the weighted head. Then when you're ready, you'll just extend one leg out. As it gets down toward the floor, the other leg begins its pedaling. Maybe you look toward your feet in an effort to keep your shoulders a little bit higher. Neutral spine, and that's all you need to think about. Of course, you're breathing. So you're feeling an isometric contraction through your midsection as you load the weight of your legs into that core. Slow it down a little bit, people. This is not a race. You're very good at this, Patty. You spend lots of time on bikes.
I used to.
So remember, the head can be lifted with the support of the hands, or it can be down. If you reach that fatigue and you need to put your head down and draw your knees into your chest, that's fine. If you'd like to move on to the double legs, again, mindfully assess your back. This is not something everybody has to do, moving both legs out together. It's something you have to determine you're ready for so you don't end up straining your back. I'm going to suggest, if you're doing two legs, that you breathe out when the legs are going down and breathe in when they're coming back. If my hand were in that little space under your low back, I would have feel pressure of your back coming down. Nice. And again, you're working mindfully with your third eye chakra, guiding you so that you say, oh, I think maybe a couple more and I'm good. Or you say, I'm feeling really strong today. I'm able to just keep with it. When you feel you are done, set your feet down, knees bent, arms by your side, legs parallel, and then elevate the pelvis for a bridge pose. So your hips are up, the energy from your hips are going out like rockets off your knees. So lots of energy here. Consider the placement of your internal organs. Now I don't remember where everything is in there, but there's a lot of stuff in there. There's your liver and your kidneys and your stomach and your intestines, miles of intestines. And so they're always weighing when we sit or stand on the same guide. And when we lift our hips, we're kind of fluffing. So inversions are helpful in that regard. Now as you come down, spread your shoulders and let the upper body come down before the middle body, before the belly button. And then when you come all the way down, relax your hips. Lovely. Stretch your left leg out in front of you and hug your right knee into the chest. We're going to have two options for this twist. The traditional is the left hand stays on the right knee and the right arm goes out to the side and you look at your right arm. And as you carry the right leg across your body, it stays bent. And if that's all you wanted to do, wonderful. If you know you have tight IT bands, these muscles that run along the outside of your leg, you may want to put your left elbow down and hold the right knee so you can press the leg straight out, pushing your right foot away. At the same time, your hip is pulling back of that leg. So the right foot pushes out as if pushing toward a wall, but then the hip is pulling back. And this will open and stretch into the IT band. Those of you with tight IT bands are already aware of it. It kind of burns at the side of your knee. And I'm not saying you should do that. I'm going off camera a moment. Yeah. So you're looking to the left. Yeah. So if you're going to do the IT one, let's support your knee underneath. Okay. Pull that elbow out a little bit. Okay. So there you go. So push into my hand and then pull back with your hip. Ooh. Yeah. And so what you need from your twist is what you give yourself. It doesn't have to be what I'm suggesting. It's just one that allows your body to kind of let go of all that balancing and those push-ups, which I know you loved. If you extended the leg, go ahead, bend it in. We're all going to roll to our back, hold the right knee with both hands, and very gently lift your knee to your head and your head to your knee. As the head goes down, the right leg extends straight out. Breathe in and draw your left knee in, and you'll have the same options here. Open your left arm to the side, looking to the left arm. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, carry the left leg across your body, either keeping it bent, or if it's better for you, to extend that leg. So you're looking to the outstretched arm. You're rolling on your hips, so keep going. Just roll.
Do you have any back dishes going on? All right, let's go more. There you go. Oh, there you go.
And remember, if something pops, make a wish. I'm kidding. My standard joke. Notice how when you deepen your breath, you can enhance the sensations. If there's popping or cracking and it doesn't hurt, it's probably okay. Gently return to your back by bending the knees in, lifting your head to that knee and the knee to that head. Then bring both knees in, head goes down, legs can part. Maybe you want to wiggle your feet or circle your ankles. Maybe you want to open into a straddle. Maybe you want to do a happy baby. I don't know. I'll let you figure it out. Relax your tailbone so your back is not rounded. Find neutral spine in any of those options. So then I come to Shavasana. If you feel cool and you want to put something on, roll to your side, bring yourself up and put something over you or your socks on, or grab a blanket to lay over you. If you're at home, you can put your robe back on or your slippers. So we have blankets here, and it's not necessarily for the warmth, but I do know that if I take a blanket and lay it on my body, the weight of the blanket is like covers at home. It adds an element of calm or quiet. So if you want to use one of the blankets here, you can lay it over you, laying in corpse pose. If this bothers your back to lay with your legs extended, take a pillow or a blanket and put it under your knees so it lends a little support to your back. Or lay on your side, or lay on your belly. Because now we do nothing. Now we just let go of all that we have been doing. Let the feet separate. Let the weight of the legs, the hips, the torso, the shoulders, the neck, and the head totally surrender onto Mother Earth. Relaxing the jawline and tuning into your breath. The distractions of mind can then come into play, and this is what we're practicing, not letting that happen. So as those thoughts may come near, simply shift them away and wait for the singing bowl. Allow this time to be yours. The singing bowl is your invitation to come on back, deepening the breath and wiggling the fingers and toes. Feel free to stay as you are, roll to your side if you'd rather, and open your mind to our thoughts for us today. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is quoted as saying, "People are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within." We know many people who are delight to be around when things are going well, and they're gracious and kind and funny and warm, and we're happy to have them as friends. And we know fewer people who are equally delightful to be around when things aren't going so well. These special few manage to be gracious and kind and funny and warm, even when times are dark for them, and when we are suffering and needy and maybe not such a delight ourselves. So thought to consider, I can be a good person in good times. I will strive to be a good person in difficult times as well. So with that said, bring yourself to a seated position. And you can sit any way you want. You can sit on a blanket or your bum or your knees. Remember in yoga, we talk about Mula Bandha as being supportive. The action of Uddiyana also supporting. So we have good posture. That the vertebra and the disc have space so that not compressing in the spine. That we try not to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. And that we have compassion in our hearts. And so as we drop the arms by the side, take a breath and lift them up. Fill yourself with all that goodness, and then push away the negativity, the sadness, the pain, the anger. And as we once again join the hands together at our heart, we share that word that means the best in me honors the best in you. Namaste. I guess I should say happy holidays and happy New Year, since I won't see you till next year. April? Yeah. April. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for coming to practice today, you guys. Laura and Magdalena and Sally and Sue and Teresa. And if you want to keep in touch with me, I have an email at the J. It's KarenB@sjcc.org. Just let me know how you're doing. So until we meet again, namaste.